今回の動画では、ロバート・ガルシアの YouTube チャンネル、ロバート・ガルシア・アンフィルタードで、井上尚弥選手や中谷潤人選手の話題が取り上げられていたので翻訳してみました。左にいるのは、数々の名選手を育ててきた名トレーナーであり、現在ジェシー・バム・ロドリゲスのトレーナーを務めるロバート・ガルシアです。中央の女性はクリスティーナ・ラミレスで、自身の YouTube チャンネルで様々なボクサーにインタビューを行っています。右にいるのは、ロバートの息子でアシスタントトレーナーとして父をサポートしているピータ・ガルシアです。
Alright, moving on to Japan, we'll start off with Takuma Inoue versus Seiya Tsutsumi. Tsutsumi pulled off the victory by unanimous decision and became the new WBA Bantamweight World Champion. It was an all-action-packed fight. What we can expect in the lower weight division. Sorry about that. Give us your guys' thoughts on the fight.
Well, it's always gonna be action with the smaller weight classes. You know, they always put up great fights. You know, it's a new champion. You know, we have a new champion. That's great for the champion now. You know, that's the dream of every fighter in the world. When they turn pro, that's their dream to one day become champion. So that's great. It puts them in a bigger position for unifications. Maybe one day sooner than later. 115-pounders move up in weight. Maybe he decides to move up to 122. He's in it. You know, the champion is now in a great position. You know, Japan had two brother champions. You know, that was great. But you know, one lost, and that's just the way boxing is. You know, you gotta, that's not the brother's gonna continue having his career the way he is. You know that, and the brother maybe get back and try to get another titles. You know, in the future. But as of right now, you know, congratulations to the champion. You know, it's always great to hear that somebody became champion because that's everybody's dream.
Yeah, the only part that where it sucks is that they were kind of trying to set up like a cool storyline between Inoue and Junto and the Inoue brothers and Junto. It would have been nice to see that for Junto to be able to unify, because he's had, well, you know, obviously we're gonna get into Junto a little bit later, but Takuma was the WBA champ. Junto has the WBC title. There was talks of them early next year coming to Southern California for a big event, or not Southern California, coming to the United States. Sorry. To do a big event where Naoya Inoue is the main event, Junto would be the co-main event. They're potentially trying to set up a fight between the two. And what better way than for Junto to fight Naoya's brother in Takuma? I would have favored Junto in the fight. I thought Junto would have beat him, no problem. And then that sets up, you know, now you have to fight Naoya. That was a perfect storyline. It was, you know, it seemed perfect, and then it got fucked up. At this point, why would Junto fight him? Like for what? Like, yeah, for the storyline, but if okay, so here's the thing. If you know, like let's say, obviously we don't train Junto, we don't whatever, but let's say you're in Rudy Hernandez's shoes and you're trying to set up Junto's next couple of fights. If you can get a unification fight, a good unification fight, then before you fight Inoue, that's big, you know. But just doing another title defense, it doesn't really add much to it. I think if it would have been the unification with Takuma, the brother of Naoya, and then set up Inoue, I think at this point it would be better if Junto just moves up to 122. If he's gonna fight Naoya at 122 anyways, that's their goal, that's the plan. If that's what they have in mind, move up to 122. Already have a fight there before. Like, why would you want your first fight at 122 to be against Naoya? Like, at least get one before against Luis Neri. If they do a show here in Vegas, what better opponent, like with a name, somebody that just dropped Junto, that just dropped Naoya, gave him a good fight. Here comes Junto to fucking completely destroy him and set up the big fight already at 122. Forget about 118 now, because 118, it would have been cool for a big unification against the brother that sets up the fight, and you know what I mean. Like, there's a cool storyline behind it. But now that storyline is not there anymore, or that unification with the storyline isn't there anymore, then just go to 122 and fight Luis Neri or fight. Those are still big fights. Those are still great fights. I would still love to see Junto fight. I think it adds to his profile, and you know, fighting somebody like an Eddie or someone at 122 like that, and then set up the Inoue fight. If the ultimate goal for them is the Inoue fight, then I think that's the way you do it. Because I was gonna say we don't, Junto's been in a tough situation where he's been a 3 division world champ already, but because of how dangerous he is, but without the star profile yet, he hasn't been able to get the unification fights. Nobody is signing up to unify with him. It's difficult for them to get the unification, but they had the perfect setup. Takuma, Junto, then he goes on and fights. And it was like it was too perfect, honestly, because they just came and fucked it all up. So that's the only part that sucks.
Now I think he's better off because, like you just said, if he moves up and fights somebody, he's gonna fight at 122 before he goes in against Inoue. So it'll probably be even better for him.
Probably will end up being better for him like this.
It will end up being better for him. I think so, really.
You don't think he'll have an opportunity to unify right now against Tatsumi?
He could. No, he could. But like now thinking about it, excuse me, sorry. Now thinking about it, yeah, it would be cool to unify with Tatsumi, but like my dad said, it would probably be more beneficial now to just move up to 122, to forget about unifying and just move up to 122 and get at least one fight under your belt where I'm comfortable at this weight class now, and this is where I want to this is where I'll be ready for Inoue. I don't think it would have been I don't think fucking going straight to 122 and fighting directly with Inoue is the smartest thing. Like he could still go up there, and Junto could possibly even beat him at 122 in his first fight. But the smart thing would be, let's probably get a fight in there first.
How much of a threat is he?
We were talking about fucking Takuma, and we just went over to Junto.
I mean, it kind of like flows into it, so it's fine. But how much of a threat is he to Inoue?
Oh, he's a big threat.
Yeah, he's got good reach, good power, great power, and great skills too. Tremendous heart. So yeah, it'll be a good fight. It'll be a great fight, obviously for Japan, but again, for us boxing fans, it'll be great. Just like we just seen this weekend with Bivol and Berry, even though neither of them are from the United States, and just the random people were not excited about this fight, but boxing people were. Same thing with this, Inoue and Junto. I think it'll be a good fight. It'll be a fight that we all want to tune in to watch.
I know a lot of people like to link people's names, like fighters' names, with other fighters, like we were talking about right now, Nakatani with Inoue, and I know a lot of people have been linking Bam's name with Nakatani, and I know you've been lifelong friends with Rudy Hernandez, but what goes through your mind when people start to link Bam and Nakatani's name?
We never even brought it up with Rudy. I don't know if you have, Pita, but I've never had that conversation with Rudy about one day, we're gonna face each other. Will it happen? I think it probably will. Mr. Honda is involved. Rudy's our friend, but he knows the business. He's been longer than us. He's a very experienced person. So I think it will happen. But right now, just like Rudy knows. Well, they're at 115. So so why would we be even calling this kid out when we're trying to go out to 122 to face the monster? So we never even talked about it, but do I think it will happen one day? I do believe so. I believe we are gonna face each other one day because the fight's gonna be really big. That it's gonna get the attention of the boxing fans, and it's gonna be pushed so we can make it happen. I think I think it will happen.
The thing with them is I think it happens too. I think it's gonna happen eventually, like at 122. The thing is that they're in different you could say like different situations. Okay, like Bam, he got his first title fight and it became like this overnight sensation kind of thing where it's like, holy shit, where'd this kid come from? Moved up a few weight classes, Bam became a star overnight, and then started getting the big names, and because he had the backing of a US promoter who put money into him, and he was in the perfect situation.
バムはイギリスを拠点とするプロモーション会社マッチルームのアメリカ支部のマッチルーム USA と契約しています。
They had all these names in the weight class, and they were able to pay them good money because Bam was generating good gates and the zone was willing to pay for them. Junto was the opposite. Junto is kind of the guy where he's super dangerous, but he doesn't now he's doing it. Now he's becoming a star. Now he's starting to people are starting to notice, and I think with the partnership with Top Rank and them bringing him back to the United States, he's gonna be a superstar, and he's well on his way to it. But they were just in different paths. Where for Bam, he fought at 112. Junto became champion 112, defended it once. I don't know how many times. Went to 115, won that title, defended it once or whatever, went straight to the next weight class, because the other champs and the weight classes and stuff, they're not easily going to be like, for the amount of risk and then the money that was attached to him at the time, nobody was going to be willing to do that. Like if you're Gallo Estrada and you're going to fight Bam and you're going to make fucking $2 million, whatever he got paid when he fought Bam, would you rather do?
正確な金額は開示されていませんが、バムとの試合でエストラーダは100万ドルの保証報酬を得ており、ペーパービューの売上が50万件を超えれば、最大300万ドルに達する可能性がありました。一方、バムは50万ドルが保証され、ペーパービューの売上次第で最大120万ドルに達する可能性がありました。バムは過去に2023年にクリスチャン・ゴンサレス戦で約40万ドル、サニー・エドワーズ戦で約60万ドルのファイトマネーを得たと言われています。そして、中谷選手がアストロラ病戦で得た金額は20万ドルとされています。
Do that or fight Junto at that time, who's more unknown. Junto he was the opener for the pay-per-view on the Crawford card. I'm not sure what the budget was for that, but when he knocked out the Maloney, but it wasn't, the Maloney didn't make $2 million, the way Bam's and Gallo, the way Gallo made 2 million or whatever he made, 1.5, whatever he made a lot of money. You know what I mean? So it's just been harder for him to get the unifications, but they're still playing it. They're doing it the way they're supposed to. Okay, we're not going to get the unifications. We're going to move up in weight, win another title. We're going to defend it. They're staying busy. And now the momentum is there for Junto. And then Bam is like, right now, Bam has all these guys at 115 that Tanaka, who was also on the Junto undercard, he lost his belt. The African kid Cafu became champ. If everything goes good for Bam, he could look at a unification with him. Puma Martinez has mentioned that he wants to fight Bam. Everybody's willing to fight Bam because everybody's going to make a lot of money. The risk is worth it with the reward that they're going to make. It wasn't like that for Junto at first. Now, and I think once Junto gets to 122, I think he's going to settle there for a little bit. By the time Bam gets her, it's going to be a huge fight. It's going to be huge for both of them. I think it's going to happen around 122.
122. That answered my following question. I was going to say, how realistic is that fight into happening? Or just these fights in general, because it's Bam with Nakatani, and then Nakatani with Inoue, and then Inoue with the whole featherweight division.
Junto is in the position to fight both guys because he's right in the middle of the two weight classes. So like if Bam were to move up, Junto's there, or if Junto moves up, Inoue's there. So like he's right in the middle of them. So he has the better, like Bam versus Inoue, it gets brought up like by the zone and stuff. That's not realistic right now. That's too much of a big jump. Bam's not going to just jump up just to do it. You know what I mean? And go fight Inoue. Junto's realistic. Junto and Bam are really similar in age. Junto's only 2 years older than Bam. So it's not like one guy's going to get old while the other guy, like we're talking about Benavides and Beterbiev. Benavides is what, 25, 26?
Yeah, I think
26. And Beterbeev's 40 years old. So if Benavides waits another year, fucking 41-year-old, and he's 27 in his prime, that's not going to happen with Bam and Junto. So if the fight happens in 2 years, Junto's still going to be 28. That's in his prime. Bam's going to be 26. If the fight happens in 3 years, 29, 20, you know what I mean? Like they're still in their physical primes. And it's, I think it's going to happen eventually. And like I said, I think it happens at 122 pounds.
I think it's going to, what do they call it when it's generating at the perfect timing?
Yeah, I think it's, like I said earlier, it wouldn't have been that big of a fight yet.
この時、ピータはクリスティーナが尋ねた言葉の意味を少し勘違いしているように思います。彼女が聞きたかったのは、前世紀の選手同士が戦うことを何と表現するのか、ということだったと思います。
Now what they're doing with Junto and how well they're moving him, they're keeping him busy. He can't get the unifications, or he hasn't been able to, but they're keeping, so if they're not waiting around for guys, you see that a lot with boxers nowadays, where they can't get the big fight, but then they wait a fucking year and they don't fight because no, I want this, I want that. They're not doing that with Junto. He's fighting and fighting and fighting. So people are talking about him. He's getting better. He's gaining momentum. He's gaining popularity and everything. They're doing a great job with him.
How would you guys describe that knockout though, or the technical knockout?
That was a clean ass.
Mhm.
That was a clean ass punch. I
That's
love
the thing
it.
that he has. He has the one punch that could put anybody to sleep, and he's quick with it. So he's always gonna have exciting knockouts. Like, so people are always gonna be talking, oh shit, did you see that? Did you see that? You know, obviously what he did to Maloney and stuff. It's crowd pleasing.
Mhm. If that fight ever does present itself with Bam, would your friendship with Rudy play a factor in it?
No.
Why?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we've
We
gone
fought-
against
Rudy's been in opposite corners before already.
We've been in opposite corners before.
With who?
Quite a few times.
Oh.
Not just once or twice, quite a few times.
Mhm.
But he's worked the corners, not really to a point where we're really fighters are fighting to one day fight each other.
Mhm.
Not
A little bit different.
but he's been in the corner. That's not, we have nothing.
Yeah, but
It's all business.
yeah.
he understands that. My dad said Rudy's more experienced than both of us. He's been around boxing when my dad was still
He was when I turned pro.
Yeah.
He was in my
Yeah.
corner.
He was working in my dad's corner when he turned pro. So as a coach, he has experience. He understands the business of it too. He understands everything. Like it's nothing's personal about my guy against your guy. Nothing is personal about that kind of stuff. Especially like a friendship like my dad has with him, where Rudy was literally my dad's head trainer when my dad has his first 3 amateur fights.
Professional.
Yeah, professional fights. My dad traveled with Rudy, Chicanito, and then for years, and Rudy helped him, with a lot of, my dad's career.
チカニートとは、ルディ・エルナンデスの弟であり、元 WBA 及び WBC 世界スーパーフェザー級王者のヘナロ・チカニート・エルナンデスのことです。
So, over a fight isn't gonna end that kind of, like, no, that's stupid.
We just won't be able to have the lunch we have once in a while.
Aw. That's gonna be interesting to see how the next few years play out between the lower weight divisions, because they're making a lot of noise.